You really want me to do the video? All right, fine. Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, man, you sweet talk me into it. I'll go ahead, because you said so, I'll go ahead and do it for you. Fear not. All right, man. So I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by. So what I did go ahead and do is grab a game from the Speed Chess Championship on chess.com. And this is the 26th game between Wesley So and Magnus Carlsen. All of my people coming from the Philippines, I will say, Maraming Salamat. And anybody who is coming from nowhere, I will say Tusen Tak. But man, if you guys are ready to go, homie, let's take a look, see what we got for this game, son. So we got the move knight to f3. So it's a little bit more rarer of a move, but it's like pretty much a waiting move from white. They're basically trying to see what black is wanting to play. But it's very solid. You play knight to f3 most of the time anyway. So we got knight to f6, basically just copying white. We got d4, and then we do see the move b6. And this is actually, as far as theory is concerned, a huge step down. And you guys know Magnus Carlsen, man. He's always trying to avoid all the absolute main lines if you can. Sometimes you got to play the main line, man. You're just going to be out of there. But, you know, we do see this move here. We got the move c4. And I ain't going to lie to y'all. This kind of reminds me of me. I'm kind of that way. I'm never going to play like Gambit stuff. I'm never going to just be like, you know, throwing around like England Gambit or something crazy out there that I know is lost. But I definitely am going to try to kind of step to the side, see if I could get like a really nice move that's kind of down on the list type deal. So, you know, hey, I'm kind of feeling what, you know, Magnus Carlsen been doing. We do see bishop to b7. We got g3. So we kind of have like a Queen's Indian, like Catalan-y type of thing. And then we end up having g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, castles, castles. So we kind of have a little bit of King's Indian situation too. But basically, you know, it's kind of like a double fee and kettle for black with this nice little knight to f6 here. Which a lot of the times when knight is to f6, you see d6. But we don't have like knight c3, you know, e4 played. So we're not really worried about like an e5 pawn push. So we're good to go. And we got the move d5. And d5, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You're basically saying, bro, I don't like your bishop over here. This nice diagonal. So I'm going to block it, right? What does Magnus Carlsen do? He says, forget that, homie. I'm playing b5, dog. I'm about to, like, you know, just damage all of your stuff right here, right? And this quickly, yes. The thing about this move b5, and it is actually in the database 62% won by white. So, we have actually reached the point in the game that there is a move in this position that wins 73% of the time. It's crazy one. If you want to pause the video and try to guess and see what move that is, go ahead and do so. All right. It's kind of soon, I know, but this is a very, very crucial point in the game. Like I said, you did go c4. You got this d5 pawn push. You're really just trying to put a brick wall up against that bishop, just like kind of trying to kill it down. So naturally, black is going to want to undo what you're doing, and this is actually a pretty sound move. You don't absolutely want to go knight to c3 because that does invite b4, and you do invite pawn takes c4. But there is a very real way that you can try to make black pay for what they just did. It's a slight inaccuracy. It's not a blunder. It's a slight inaccuracy. That move that I'm looking for is queen to b3. If you found the move queen to b3, then you would understand what black is trying to do. And you say, hey, man, I'm going to raise you. Like in poker. You know Magnus Carlsen be playing poker. Anyways, this queen to b3 does a lot of things. Number one, it reinforces the chain that you have right here. Also, obviously, this pawn is not movable because you are attacking this bishop behind it. And, I mean, the thing about this move is you're kind of just attacking this pawn, and you're really just trying to kind of win it for free. The absolute best thing to do in this position is to go queen to c8 and just protect the bishop and allow this pawn to be taken just literally for nothing. You can try to hold it with a6 and c6, but this does allow black to just start developing pieces. You do want to play knight to c3. The good thing about queen to b3 is it does prevent this b4 pawn push. So if you can get knight to c3 and e4 in, I mean, you living your best life, homie, like for sure. Because this is completely ideal center to have right here. Bizam. But anyways, we do not see that in the game. After we see the move b5, we actually see Wesley So immediately go knight to c3. And this, like I said, does allow the very accurate pawn takes c4. And we got knight to d2. So just running through these moves. We got c6. So you see that black is constantly trying to break white down. We got knight taking c4, pawn taking d5. Knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes. Ha! Okay, so what this has allowed black to do is somewhat simplify the position down. Okay, of course, this is the thumbnail. So you do see that this rook is undefended in the corner. Like, that was from the thumbnail. Obviously Magnus is going to do something about that. He's not just going to hang his rook. But talking about this right here, you know, black has managed to get rid of white's really, really nice pawn center. And really kind of when you look at it, black is the one with the ideal pawn center. So you have to be doing something if you're white to combat those ideas. What we see in this position is knight to c6. Like I said, obviously Magnus Carlsen, he wasn't just going to drop his rook for free. I mean, you know, everybody blunders, but I mean, it's kind of a big one. So we do see knight to c6 just blocking all of that. We got rook over to d1. I mean, it's a nice little move. You're getting this rook on an open file, a half open file at least, and you are putting some pressure on this d7 pawn. You can't move d6 now because obviously your knight is going to hang. So you have to make a preparatory move. We got rook over to c8, and this does protect the knight so that we can push d6. And we actually see bishop to e3 in the game. And this is the novelty of the game. Now, going back, in this position, you might be wondering, like, I did all these moves to try to attack the knight on c6, and then we got the pawn on d7. Like, can I just take on d7, right? Like, what's wrong with taking on d7? Well, you can. It is considerably better for black here because of this move right here. And this is a really, really nasty disconnect move, a little interference move. This knight has now just disconnected the queen and the rook. And so you kind of have an issue. Also, your knight is completely undefended. So you're in a little bit of a pickle. So, I mean, don't reach into the candy jar or the cookie jar with this pawn and come out with nothing. So, like I said, we do see bishop to e3. Just developing. The other move that we saw in this position is bishop to d2. Bishop to d2 does control this diagonal right here. And it actually becomes somewhat relevant because we actually do see Magnus Carlsen take advantage of that immediately with knight to b4. So that is what the initial game that I saw in the database was trying to prevent this move right here. We do see queen sidestepping over to b5. And we do see the move d5. And we got queen takes b4. I got a free piece. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. The pawn is pinned, yes, but the rook does have the ability to take, and that is what we see in the game. But Wesley So says, bro, I don't care about all that pin stuff, bro. Queen takes c4. We got pawn taking c4. Rook taking d8. Rook taking d8. And we got rook over to c1. You got to get some activity rolling, man. What better thing to do than to, try to attack this pawn right here? But you do got to give up a pawn in exchange. We do see bishop taking b2. We got rook taking c4. And then we do have the move a5. Very important because, I mean, this is actually one of your good pawns if you're black. And this is one of your good pawns if you're white. So you don't really just want to give it up like that. So don't do that. We do see a5 and then we do see a4. The interesting, the important detail in this situation is the fact that black actually has their pawn on a dark square and white has their pawn on a light square. So the pawn for white isn't as attackable as black. We have the same color bishops. So, I mean, these positions are much less drawn simply because the bishops can actually oppose each other and attack each other. When you have opposite color bishops, normally, the bishops never influence each other. So, you end up in these drawn positions. We do see bishop going to a3, trying to connect itself on b4. We got bishop to b6. You got to be careful here because you might kind of seem like, hey, man, I can just take here, right? I can just put the bishop here, attack this bishop, or maybe I can go down. If you go down, you're looking at rook to d1 with check. Bye-bye. If you go here, you're looking at rook over here, pins and wins. Don't do that, bro. That is why we see Wesley go bishop to b6. We got rook down to d1 with check. The king goes to g2. Nice little luft square. We got bishop up to b4, and then it is now that we see bishop to c5. We got rook over to b1, bishop takes b4, rook takes b4, rook takes b4, and then we have pawn takes b4. And who is winning this race? They're going to tie. We got a5, b3, a6, b2, a7, b1, queens. And then we have a8, queens with check, and it does move the king down. And we have almost an identical position. We got queen down to f3, queen to b2. We got h4, and then we see the move queen to f6. And it is in this position that the players agree to a draw. I think you can kind of see why. Basically, I mean, both players have exactly the same material, and they literally almost have their pawns in the exact same spot. So, I mean, there really isn't much to be had. When you look at all these lines, they're literally like all triple zeros. So, I mean, it had some potential maybe to be something, but, you know, both players just played very, very nice. A very, very nice game. So, this game is drawn by agreement. So, all of my people in the Philippines, let me see, it's super early morning, so magandang umaga to you. Almasal tayo, let's go get some food. What's something I haven't said in a while, that I can think of in Tagalog? I don't really know. I don't really know. I mean, hello ulit. I mean, let me see, mabuning pagbati, I say that a lot too. Yeah, I'm gonna come up with some other stuff, man. But I appreciate you guys very much. Maraming salamat aking makaibigan. Post na nanonood ng aking mga video as always. And let me see. What do I know? Norwegian. God Morgan is good morning. So I know that. But tusen takk to all you people out there from Norway. Anybody else from around the world, thank you very much. And I'm going to see you guys next time.